Hey gang, how's it going? Patrick here. So today we are going to unbox the top secret New World Order set that I got from the Kickstarter that I backed back in June of 17. Obviously there were some delays because I think we're supposed to have this by Christmas, and it's now the end of March. As I record this, it is the 31st of March. Tomorrow is Easter / April Fool's Day. Monday is my birthday. So, you know, it got here in time. There's going to be some discussion afterward. Because I have some feelings about how the Kickstarter was run. But for the time being, I'm going to go get everything together. Then we will unbox it, and then we'll have a little discussion. My usual requests: like my video, subscribe to my channel, ask for some notifications, and please tell your friends, ask them to come by and take a look and subscribe as well. Every little bit helps. So I'll be back in a few minutes. We'll get things going, and then we'll have our talk. Okay, so without further ado, let's open this bad boy. The box itself, decent sized shipping box, mostly air, but yeah, not as bad as some things I have seen come through in terms of packaging. Alright, I'm not sure how much air. Alright, good old styrofoam peanuts. One box. One box full of styrofoam. I'm not seeing a packing slip or anything, but that's no big deal. So I'm just going to get that out of the way, and here it is in all its shrink-wrapped glory. Nice heft to it. There seems to be quite a lot in here. Let's see if we can't remember that name. We'll discuss that name later. Alright, let's bust through this shrink wrap. And there we go. Alright. Nice snug lid. No worse than the boxes from the 80s or the 90s. Set that off to the side. Get adjusted here. Alright. Single set of poly dice. D4 up to a D20. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 20. No percentile. It does not use percentile, which is kind of silly because some of the tables show percentile in the PDF. So you'd think they'd have at least included a percentile D10. And I know from reading the rules that for a lot of things you're going to need at least 2 of each of these, so including one set was kind of cheap. But they look like nice dice. They feel like they've got a decent heft to them. they got a good heft. Seem to roll okay. Gotta wind up needing, some more extensive use, but fairly solid set of dice there. Some clips, which are for use on like character sheets and such. Four orange, presumably one per player, and one blue one for the GM. Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of these player mats. You can use them with looks like with a wet erase marker. Heavy for a character sheet, kind of lightweight for what they may be used for. Not positive about that, but they seem sturdy enough for what I think they need to be used for. Vehicle cards, same deal. Motorcycles, sedans, sports cars. Everything you need is a globe-trotting secret agent. Also glossy, also for use with I'm assuming a wet erase marker. You've got some poked out, some die punch character materials here. Not 100% sure what these markers are good for, but you've got some basic generic characters, you've got some vehicles, obstacles, and things of that nature. The flip side, injured or dead, or smashed. Because vehicles, they get beat up. Alright, now we're getting to the nitty. Okay. Comes with a GM screen. This is heavy duty. This is some good heavy gauge. I mean, kind of, semi-light, medium to light duty hardcover book material. Glossy. It's got the tension track. Not 100% sure what that's supposed to do, but presumably those clips are up here. But that's sturdy. That is a hefty GM screen. I am getting some echo in my headset and it's starting to bother me. But we'll deal with that later. Looks like it's got all the basic tables in it. The logo, the map of the world, very spy movie appearance there. The first adventure / mission module, the White Queen. 36-page booklet that comes separate of the cover. Very old school 80s feel to it. It's all black and white. Serviceable art. No idea what goes on here. Haven't had a chance to read it. I've had the PDF for a few days now. The cover serves as its own little screen, just like the dungeon modules for various TSR games did back in the 80s when I started playing. It's got a map of Riga, Latvia. So obviously it takes place in the Baltic. A pad of character sheets. Which presumably will be available as a PDF. I know they've got a blank dossier in the core rulebook PDF. I would think they would have a little freebie up for that. Haven't checked yet. And finally, the core rulebook. This is going to have there's going to be a blank at the end of the core book. 120 pages. That includes appendices, quite a few pre-generated NPC archetypes. Again, all black and white. As I mentioned in my preview a few days ago, it's kind of crunchy. There are tables that take multiple pages. This is very old school and in appearance, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm old. I like old school. I have no problem with that. Here's some fairly typical art. All the art is black and white. Like I said, the only color you're getting is on the covers. And again, there's that name, Merle M. Rasmussen. He wrote the original Top Secret, and he did not have as much to do, if anything, with Top Secret SI, which was the successor game that the old TSR came out with back in the late 80s. But there's that. That's everything in the box. So I'm going to put everything back in here, and I'll be back shortly, and we'll finish our talk. And there you have it. There, it's open now. Cleared a couple things out of the way, but kind of go back through here in a little bit. I've said before, I know I talked about it in my conversation with Barry Scott Will, my friend, that I was not particularly happy with how the Kickstarter was run, and I was not very happy at all with how the Kickstarter was done. The really successful ones, when they pass their goal, they start establishing stretch goals. You know, new books that this money will help finance, all that happy jazz. Or they pay their writers more, or both, or they boost the quality of the product, heavier binding, or things of that nature. And the goal that the new TSR games, and I have some problems with them taking up that mantle. I have a lot of memories associated with the original TSR games, which was bought up a long time ago by Wizards of the Coast. So to have them step in, have a bunch of people that really didn't have much to do with the original company step in and start using that name again in an attempt to garner goodwill, you would hope that they would try to garner goodwill. As it happens, not so much. The original goal of the Top Secret New World Order Kickstarter was a very modest $12,000. What they wound up getting before the course of everything had run out was 120 plus. Now, even taking taxes and Kickstarter's not inconsiderable fee into account, you're still looking at, very solid 5 figures of working capital. Yes, one of the packages available was a hardbound, linen-covered version of the book. Well and good. But there's a whole lot of money. They had no stretch goals. There's nothing to aspire to beyond that. They had one mission module written, the White Queen, which obviously is finished and is part of this box set. They had, Merle Rasmussen had already gotten as far as getting the rules written. They still had some play testing, I believe, but they had the rules written. The book was more or less ready. I'm still trying to figure out where some of that money went, because it's not reflected in all of what we got. The box itself, reasonably sturdy, but no more so than boxed sets from 20 years ago. They could have used a slightly heavier grade of cardstock to build the boxes with, because box sets get broken. Boxes break. It's just how it works. Dice. You need at least 2 of almost every one of these. These are not expensive items. Of the extra money added in the Kickstarter, they could have added a second set of polys. You'd have at least been able to have it without having to scrounge more. Polys are cheap. You can get them, $10-12 for sets at any comics or game shop. But if you're trying to sell this, you shouldn't have to go buy more. Most gamers have more already. But if this is aimed at beginners. This is aimed at someone entering the hobby. And it should be complete and ready to play without having to go spend more money. Because, let me flip this over a second, see if they've got a suggested retail price on here. They do not have a suggested retail price on here, but I am guessing from the amount I had to pay for it, that it's probably going to be $50, which is fairly standard for the hobby these days. And then throw on another $10-12 retail. Wholesale, these things are cheap. You made enough money off the Kickstarter, you could throw in an extra set of dice to help out noobs. You really could have. The GM screen is a remarkable piece. It's very sturdy, very hefty. But the cover for the core rulebook, they could have gone up a little bit heavier grade on the cover stock for that. Top Secret was not my first role-playing game, but it was the first espionage role-playing game. And it was my first role-playing experience in the espionage genre. Didn't do much with it because we could never get much of a group together. And then the James Bond 007 games game from Victory Games came out, and it drew a lot of thunder. I had a lot more success with Top Secret SI. But when a game company makes, pulls in 10 times what they expected, on a Kickstarter, honestly, I expect a little bit more. There were a lot of problems on the Kickstarter with communication. Jason Elliott, the front man for TSR Games, he if he disagreed with you and you're having a conversation with him on Kickstarter, he would quietly send your money back and kick you off the Kickstarter. You would, you'd get your money back, but you wouldn't get the game, which I thought was a kind of a jerk move, because you have to be able to take the criticism along with the praise, and they've earned a lot of criticism. They had no stretch goals. There's no evidence that they reinvested the extra money into making a better product. I've been playing role-playing games since 1980. I've been part of the industry, however, on the edge of the industry since 1999. I'm not all-knowing, I'm not all-seeing. I could be wrong, but I'm not seeing where some of that money got reinvested into making a better product or making additional products. John Wick Presents made $1.3 million with 7th Sea 2nd edition, and you wound up with 8 or 9 other books and all sorts of extra goodies as part of your pledge. I pledged less for 7th Sea and got considerably more. The PDF product, I feel, is incomplete, because if these playmats, for instance, if these are actually necessary for the game and not just an extra little thing, then they should have been included as part of the PDF. They are not. The vehicle cards, likewise. I have no idea what the counters are for. The little punch-out counters. I'm not sure what they're for. I haven't read through the rules sufficiently yet to understand. What I've seen of the game is it's kind of crunchy, but it's very serviceable. I expected no less, because I've seen Muro Rasmussen's work before. He's a good writer. He knows of what he speaks. From many standpoints, he's hopelessly behind the times. I have no problem with that. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1980. I'm old school myself. I don't mind an old school approach. I don't mind an old school look. Black and white art, it's a lot cheaper to print. You can save a lot of money on printing costs for that, because you don't have to go full color, except on the covers. And again, I don't see where all the extra money that they made, because they're going to be able to release this for $12K. They should have had more in mind, more that they could do when they hit 120K and beyond. As I was saying in other conversations I've had about this game, this Kickstarter, I was really hoping that it would knock my socks off, that it would make me so eager to play that I would be able to overlook how badly the Kickstarter was handled, how badly they seem to be treating people. The fact that they, yeah, I was hoping that they would show me where some of that other money in the Kickstarter went, and they haven't. The odds of my buying another product from the new TSR are virtually nil. They're going to have to really impress me going forward. I'm going to have to hear a lot of good word of mouth from people I know and trust before I can reasonably invest any more in this game, even in PDFs. And I don't like being in that position, but Merle's name on the cover isn't enough to make up for how everything else has been handled. So the box set itself is nice. It'd be worth the $50 at a game store. But anything more from them, they're going to have to. They're going to have to really come up with something impressive. And sadly, I just don't see that coming from this company. And I hate that they are chaining themselves to TSR's legacy in order to draw in nostalgic old grognards like me. But that's what it looks like they're doing. So this is a one and done for me. Sorry, guys. This is the only thing I'm getting from you. And that makes me sad. It really does. And I hate to leave on a downer note, but that's all I've got to say on the matter. The usual things. Subscribe, like, and tell your friends. By all means, tell your friends. In the meantime, I'm going to take off for right now. Edit this thing together. And see you on the other side. Thanks for dropping in. Bye-bye.